Hi, I'm Mary McNamara, television critic for the Los Angeles Times, this is the Envelopes Emmy Chats. And today I am thrilled to have Tatiana Maslany, the star of Orphan Black, which is one of my favorite shows. And it's a performance that is in a category all by itself because it's a performance that includes, like, I don't know, what are you up to now? 12, 13
I think it's 12.
characters?
Yeah.
For those of you who do not watch Orphan Black, and I hope there are very few of you because you really need to watch the show because it's amazing. She plays a series of clones who they discover each other as each season goes by, and of course there's a lot of intrigue, and there are people chasing them and trying to kill them, and then there's another clone. Anyway, it's all very confusing and wonderful. And how on earth do you do it? So you're up to 12 now?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, there's a core group of 5 or 6 that we kind of see every episode, but. Yeah, it's so much fun as an actor to get to kind of play all of those different roles and delve into different, physicalities and speech rhythms and dialects and stuff like that, and sort of try to differentiate them all.
So you added, were there 2 new ones? There was MK this year?
Last season? Yeah.
Okay, so we're up to season 4.
Yeah.
Was the last season that was aired. And so we had MK was new.
Yeah.
Crystal had shown up in season 3, but then she became a regular character.
Yeah, she did.
And then was there anybody else? Am I missing? Because some of them come and go, and like you just see a little bit, and then
I wish I could say
Jennifer,
Jennifer died.
She did.
Yeah,
she did.
But we saw her in a couple flashbacky kind of video footage. But.
So what I'm curious about is, so at this point, like, do you talk to the creators at all when they're going to introduce a new clone and say, here's the kind of persona that I think I could do and remain completely separate from the 75 other people I'm already doing?
Right. Well, it's always been a big collaboration. I mean, I think especially as soon as we sort of established the first 5 clones, Cosima, Allison, Sarah, Helena, and those 4, and introduced Rachel and stuff like that, they were always really open to what I thought, what inspired me, what kind of turned me on as an actor. And I never approached them with a character that I wanted to play necessarily, but we definitely have an open door policy in terms of that kind of stuff.
Crystal is so, I mean, as soon as she showed up, you're like, oh my God, of course.
Well, she was a joke, actually.
Like cowgal. Yeah, I mean, she is like, oh my God.
Yeah, well, I was just doing a voice I was doing a voice of this other show that exists that's and I was on set doing that voice, and they were like, that should be the next clone. And so it was a complete mistake and just sort of happened.
But what I love about her is she seems like, and she's totally wrong, but she isn't totally wrong. Like, she's really smart. She seems very flaky and oblivious, but she's got that something's going on. She just doesn't quite understand what's really going on.
Yeah, and I think that's like what our show enjoys doing, is sort of taking archetypes and flipping them on their heads and sort of opening up what those archetypes, usually conceal, and what's actually beneath the surface of, a person's looks versus who they actually are. And I think especially as women, it's interesting to kind of bust those stereotypes open a bit and go, well, who's the real person underneath, and what does my aesthetic say about me versus who I actually am.
And then also the underlying point of the show is that they're all the same. The genetic link of all the women is the same, but then you see the variations of region and life experience, and and also just that they are very different, but there is a link there, which is really fascinating to watch when it shows itself. So this season, what I really liked also was you went backwards a bit. Yeah. You went back and you explored Beth, because when the season started, I mean, we saw Beth as she stepped off the train. It was like we didn't, and then we learned about her through the videos that Sarah watched.
Yeah.
And so how was that to go back and sort of, to the beginning, reintroduce a character that you as an actor, I think, met playing a character who was playing her?
Totally. So she was she existed sort of in more of a mythology than in the actual physical world, like we hadn't actually explored Beth as herself. Sarah had kind of inferred things about her and took on her life in whatever way she could, and sort of pretended to be her, but didn't actually know her, had never met her. So it was fun to get to go back and show her real life and see who she actually was. And she's an extremely dark character. There's a lot of kind of demons there and things that she's holding in. And it's cool too to reflect her back against Sarah and see how these two unlikely leaders fail and succeed in their own right, and how different they are, even though they sort of have a common goal and a common kind of responsibility.
So what do you think it's a crazy show, and it started off, I remember when I reviewed it in the first, I think they sent out like the first 3 or something, you weren't quite sure what kind of show it was going to be. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the reveal came, the clones came pretty early, but it seemed like it was going to, that Sarah was pretending to be somebody that she wasn't, so it's like, a stolen identity show, or was it a conspiracy show? And it's sort of every season followed different, like, Uber lines, like we had the whole, the boy clones, that was, so it's like, but it does seem to be about that sisterhood, like exploring sisterhood and exploring what do you hold on to as this, the major story that you're telling? Yeah,
I feel like it's about the sisterhood is really important, family is really important, and whatever that dynamic is, however a family is, however they manifest, not in any conventional sense, but and then for me, it's always kind of been about identity and about autonomy and our, ownership over our bodies and ourselves, and which is, very potent to me, and I think a very potent kind of issue currently, something that a lot of people are talking about. So it's nice to get to explore it a bit through the show.
What makes human human?
Yeah, where we sort of cross into gray area in terms of morality and what is, what takes away an individual's right to their life, and what is good for science, and what is good for individuals, and what's good for the world, and all this kind of stuff. Well,
this season you really got into that, because it was almost like copywriting people.
Yeah.
The idea of that.
Yeah, and the invasion of these bots that are put into the clones to kind of monitor them, and that sort of idea of that invasion.
Right, and it does it. That's a theme that a lot of shows explore: what makes human human, and what makes an individual an individual. Is it memory? Is it experience? But I think that you guys. So one of the I guess longest running threads is that some of the clones are sick. That they're built into. There's a glitch in the system, and so Cosima is very ill, and the littlest clone is also very ill. The little girl, I can't remember her name.
Charlotte. Yeah.
But so and some of the clones have died, but not of the illness. But in the first season, I can't remember her name. She was shot. One of the Katya was shot, and then Jennifer died. How is that? Do you when you're a character and then you die and then you move on like immediately? You don't get the death scene that most characters get.
Right.
You have to go to work
the bottle
the next day.
Of champagne. Exactly. At the read-through or whatever. No. I'm just there the next day. I'm there in the very next scene.
The next scene.
Yeah, exactly. With those characters, it was they were sort of one-offs. So Katya, I was with her for a scene, so there wasn't any kind of like big trauma in losing her. But with Jennifer, even just playing Jennifer for a day, and in those videos, starting off as a healthy woman and sort of hearing her experience of her illness and then her dying was quite emotional. That was sort of like, we shot that in pre-production before season 2 or 3. So it was this weird day before we actually started filming that we got to explore this.
Because she was on video too, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was like exclusively in the videos.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Helena, we thought was dead for. Was that a cliffhanger? I can't remember.
I think it was at the end of season 1 with her. Yeah.
And Cosima, I think, wasn't she supposed to die? I think that was one of the writers said that originally she was going to die, but if you kill Cosima, everyone will riot.
Everyone will kill us. Yeah. She's got a real fan following. And Cosima's very close to my heart, and I think all of our hearts. So to have her kind of in jeopardy is very tense. Is kind of a nice.
So you haven't gotten a written agreement that she will not die?
I can't say anything.
You can't say anything. So do you have favorites? Do you have like the ones? Do you have ones that are like your favorite to play, and then the ones that you actually like the best, or are they the same?
It's all. it's such a dream part, you know, whichever one is in front of me at that moment is kind of the most exciting to me. But I love the sort of more arch kind of fun ones that I get to play, like Allison and Crystal and Helena. You know, there's a lot of room for being bizarre and having weirder interactions and sort of going to a different place than Sarah. You know, Sarah's sort of the heartbeat, sort of the metronome. And Rachel's really fun because she's difficult, you know. She's not like me remotely and has a history that I don't know in my body. And so it's interesting to kind of get to explore her, somebody who I would never get to play otherwise.
How do you separate, I mean, I know you've talked in other places about, obviously you have a very good body double and obviously it's a lot of very clever camera work, but as a performer, how do you get to, because it is a very physical, I mean, that's what makes it so convincing, is it's not just a wig and a different accent. I mean, you hold yourself differently for every single character, you move differently. It's just, I mean, it's an astonishing set of performances. How do you do that? I mean, how do you separate, like on a day, do you shoot like one character per day, or do you go into a closet and hold yourself very still and like, do they shoot you with a ray gun? I mean, how do you do it?
I really, really wish I had the time to kind of be still in a room by myself between characters, but I don't.
They just hand you the
wig.
They
just throw me into the next outfit. But yeah, no, it's very quick. There's changes. You know, halfway through the day we'll change into a new character, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times. And it's, I don't know, I feel like the body stuff is really interesting to me in terms of, you know, what somebody's emotional life has done to their body, how it affects the tension they hold in their body, how they walk into a room, you know, is dictated by who they are and who they, you know, how they feel about the world. So the physical stuff is really fun for me to kind of start with. I think I used to kind of go from a very heady place in terms of breaking down who the characters were, but now it's very much more instinctive, and I trust my body to tell the story more so than my brain, you know, because there's so many storylines to keep, you know, on
so
top
you
of.
used to start from a heady place on Orphan Black, or as an actress?
As an actor, yeah, as an actor in general, I think I was always trying to control things and sort of be a good student and know what I was doing. But that leads to all kinds of tension and untruth. So I've really started to work from a different place of more instinct. And
so do you have, like, I mean, I remember some actors say the costume does it, or the, you know, when I see the set, or, I mean, there's always like a trigger. So is yours physical? I mean, do you have like a certain, you know, a walk or the way you stand that goes, okay, now I'm Cosima, or now I'm...
I mean,
I mean, Helena I mean, she is very physical and hilarious in the way she walks and sits, like, you know, like with the man spread, and I mean, she's hilarious.
Yeah, she like, for her, it's all animal stuff. It's just kind of doing the opposite of what most people would do in a situation, you know, in terms of the way she takes up a space or the way she looks at somebody for too long or whatever. But yeah, I feel like the triggers are physical for me, or I use music a lot to kind of key into things. But also it's really about being opposite my scene partner and how they're treating me and how they're, you know, because my co-stars on the show are amazing, invested, committed actors who are, you know, are all playing really strong characters in their own right, and who enjoy, you know, playing opposite me in a different incarnation, and like treat me differently when I walk on set as Allison versus as Sarah. So it's really about when I'm on set, if, you know, whatever chemistry is cooking, and we sort of build that together. You know, it's not kind of a thing that I do in my trailer and I'm like, now I'm ready. Now this is like foolproof. Yeah, everybody speak to me as this character. No, it's more so
That's interesting because the show has become more ensemble. I mean, you know, it's still, you're very much, obviously, because you're playing so many characters, but the supporting characters, I mean, the Felix character has always been amazing. I mean, from the beginning, and Jordan's performance is just, because he's like got the hardest and had the hardest role, which is he has to be the normal person bringing the viewer in to this insanity.
And so yet he's a huge character as well. Like he
has like a whole side story, and I like the whole side story and that was great, the side story with his real biological sister, and how jealous Sarah was. And I mean, it's really nice how And there's a humor too, like with the Allison character and Donnie and Helena. It's like Donnie's great. I mean, that's a great character. And he started off very small, and like you weren't really sure if he was going to be around because they were like having. So has that? I mean, that seems to, you know, every season, even as you do more characters, it also feels like the supporting characters have, you know, more space in the story.
Absolutely. I feel like, you know, Maria this season for playing Mrs. S had some amazing
with her own
emotional heavy stuff to deal with, and really, you know, stood as a very important character this season. Art had some awesome stuff. Kevin Hanchard had amazing stuff with, you know, with Beth, his history with Beth, and Jordan and Christian both have been these metronomes since season 1 in terms of, you know, always being there as support to my characters, and now this, you know, this season and last kind of taking a bit more of a leadership position themselves, and like you said, you know, Jordan exploring his biological sister, that conflict, what that means for his identity, you know, and Christian running around in underwear, making us all laugh.
Going to prison.
Yeah, going to prison, exactly.
Like Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the last season, season 3, we also had the Castor clones. And was that a relief for you to not have to be, you know, in every scene? Because we had scenes where there wasn't necessarily a lead, a clone involved. Did you like that? Or did you, I mean, do you, you know, because a lot of lead actors, you know, they carry a lot of the weight of the show, but no one does it like you do because of the nature of the show and the number of characters. I mean, like, say, could I just get, you know, go do something with the boys?
Yeah, I was excited about that just because I thought Ari was so exciting when he first came to set in season 2. He was such a cool actor, and we were all very excited about him, and to get to see him explore that same thing that I was working through was cool. He can look so
sweet and so scary.
Totally, totally. And it's so fun to watch another actor do that. And yeah, to have some space to kind of take a bit of a secondary position was nice. But I do love, you know, I love being on set. I love working. It's my favorite place to be, so.
And who is your favorite? I asked that question. I didn't let you answer. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of whoever's in front of me. I really love Helena. Yeah. Helena's like my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, I was glad she didn't die.
Me
but she's
too.
changed a lot as a character because she was really kind of super scary in the beginning.
Yeah. I don't think we knew where she was heading either. I think it was sort of, she was this villain. She was just going to be this villain, and the writers kind of started to open up this other side of her, and we started to find it, I think, when she was eating. There was something about her eating and this sort of insatiable hunger she had, that there was obviously something she was filling, you know, kind of a hole or something. And I felt like, I remember talking to Graham about it and being like, I feel like everything she does is from a deep sense of love, regardless of if she's holding a gun to your head or, like, you know, slicing you with a knife. There's something loving about, like, there's something, she needs love desperately, and so she's seeking it out in whatever way she can kind of get it.
Well, you totally want her to have your back because she just, like, she takes care of it and then she cleans up after herself. It's like, it's amazing. Okay, I have a bunch of questions from Twitter.
Nice.
So Layla wants to know, what was your favorite scene to film in season 4?
In season 4, I loved the everything with Dizzy in episode 7. The scene where just the stuff outside of the club with Dizzy when Sarah's kind of drunk and having, you know, the one fun night out that she's had since the show started, sort of going back to her roots with this guy who is very much her, like an electric kind of, you know, they have a cool chemistry together.
And is he going to hang around for the next season?
I hope so. I think Joel's an amazing actor. He's so much fun to play with, and he's so different. You know, he's got such a unique energy and such a cool character. So I hope so. Yeah.
And then another one asked, which clone did you most enjoy this season? This season.
I feel like I really enjoyed playing Rachel this season. It was a lot of work. She was really hard. She's kind of come from, she was in like absolute power, has lost everything, and now is crawling her way back up. And so that journey's been really interesting with her aphasia and with her injury, trying to get back that sense of dignity that she so desperately needs. And that power.
Yeah, and for a minute you thought, oh, she's gonna maybe get nice because she seemed to be a little maternal with Charlotte, and then she came in at the end.
Not gonna
no,
happen.
I'm going to take all this over.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Another fan asks, season 2 ended with the clone dance party, and season 3 had the giant group dinner. What type of scene with all the clones would you like to do next? How hard? They must take forever, those to shoot. They must be like...
Those 2 scenes took 2 days each to shoot,
Wow.
which is actually quite fast, I think, for
and they looked great. I mean, they just really, it's amazing to me. Because, having people play different characters is not, other shows do it, but you usually can see, there's usually a little ragged around the edges.
Right, well, that's our post-production team, Intelligent Creatures. They're unbelievable. The seamlessness of those scenes is totally down to them, and down to, Catherine, who plays my clone double, and everything she does for those scenes. Like, there's no way it would be that seamless without those components. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So is there one where you you want to see them all?
And cuddling in a bed,
or
eating chips,
standing triumphant on the steps of
sitting on the beach, having a margarita.
Right.
Just all on sunbeds.
That would be hilarious.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'll ask one more. Do you have a favorite moment or line that you improvised that made it into the show? Do you improvise? Do you?
Yeah.
I would seem like, especially with some of the characters, like Helena or.
Yeah. The Helena Donnie, Allison Donnie thing is a lot of improv. Allison and Felix, Sarah and Felix, there's improv there. I don't know. I think I didn't have any of the great lines. Jordan said, second season, he said, "Fetch me something gay," and that was a great line. And he made that one up. And now it's a t-shirt.
I saw the blooper reel that you showed at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. And there was that one scene where you're like on the phone going,
"Oh yeah,
you got to tell Cosima." Oh, I am Cosima.
Yeah.
Do you ever have that? Do you have those moments where
that
it's
happens?
Like,
yeah.
where you're like talking about a clone and you're like, oh wait, that's me.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. And like mannerisms that cross over from other clones, and yeah.
And do people catch you? Do they like the mannerisms? That's interesting. Do you have like, do your producers or director go, you just did Sarah as Allison?
Yeah,
or?
there's so many people who know these characters so well, and they'll kind of be like, like there's a nice dialogue there that we have.
You don't need the cane, you're playing.
Yeah, I walk on with the cane as Helena or something. Yeah.
I love the hat that Helena had. The hat. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Like
the dead animal.
The dead animal.
Yeah. That was the most natural version of Helena, I think. That's her.
Yeah, when you first saw that like hut where she was living,
I was like, yes, this is amazing. There's a car door on the side that you can roll down.
Oh my God.
It's incredible. Yeah.
That is so funny. Did you have any idea, I mean, when you first started, that it was going to go, like, did they just, the number of characters that?
No.
You just went, okay. What did you think when you first started, like 4? Were there 4 in season?
There were, I think there were 3.
Because Rachel didn't show up till the second season?
No, and I didn't even know about Helena when I auditioned for it. So I was just kind of like blindly, desperately trying to get the part, just wanting it so badly. And then got to play all these other amazing characters. What did you do when you did your audition? Who did you do? I did Sarah as Beth, Cosima, and Allison.
So what's the difference between Sarah as Beth and Beth?
Accent. Mm-hmm. Like placement of accent, because Sarah's obviously not American.
Right.
There's a lot different. I think Sarah thought Beth was much more feminine than she ended up being, and just sort of like a lightness. I think Beth had like this kind of heaviness that Sarah didn't really know about, and a sense of humor that was different. And yeah, there's a lot different about the two of them. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Okay, so will Tony be back for season 5? I guess Tony is a fan favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would love to see him back, and I
Where did he go? He just sort of came and went.
Took off on the road.
And
he's like a lone wolf. I feel like he sort of.
Did you know he was coming? I mean, when do you find out? When do you find out when they're going to introduce a new character?
I don't remember when we found out about Tony. We found out about Rachel maybe episode 8 of season 1. And she was introduced episode 10. So it's quite quick sometimes. MK I knew about for a couple months before the season started.
Because you had to get the masks.
I had to buy the masks.
Masks are great.
I had to get them fitted. Yeah. Yeah. No, she was really fun too this season.
And she's okay. She didn't, so.
She's sick.
She is sick.
She got sick.
But, so how many of them are sick?
Cosima.
Is Rachel sick? No, she just had the
MK.
eye. Well, she's got the eye that's all glitchy.
Got the eye.
And
she's not well.
That is crazy.
She's definitely not well.
So, there was rumors that season 5 is going to be the last.
Yeah, I think that's it. I feel like, I don't want to say goodbye to it. I don't think any of us do really, but there's something about going out when the show is still doing well, and we're still excited to tell these stories, and there's still material to kind of come up with.
And like a spin-off, like that Allison gets her own show.
Donnie and Allison with like Helena. It's a talk show. Donnie and Allison interview people, and Helena's the band leader.
That would be really funny.
Yeah.
What was the biggest surprise for you? Like, that a character took off, or that, a relationship occurred? I mean,
I feel like
that you didn't see coming.
I feel like Helena and Donnie was a surprise. I didn't know how that was going to happen, and then as soon as Graham was like, "We're going to put Helena and Donnie together," I was like, "Oh, perfect." That makes no sense, and yet it makes total sense. I don't know why they really appreciate each other, those two.
I think the biggest, when he killed Leaky, that one came out of nowhere.
He changed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that's
when they
right.
buried him, and that was hilarious. And
was-
then they had to dig him up.
That was very dark.
Do you know, I mean, like, can you keep track of, there's a certain lost sensibility to Orphan Black where you're like going, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
But it's like, what's really, like, I can't keep the Proletheans and and then there's the book, and then there's that guy that you thought was dead, but I guess he's immortal. I don't know. I mean,
who knows?
Appearing in the eye, and and the swan.
I can't keep much of it straight.
Yeah. Just like
plot-wise. No, I just sort of take care of the characters and what they want
Right.
and what they're doing, what they know, and then let the rest kind of wash over
every
me.
once in a while, one of the characters does have one of those wonderful monologues where it's like brings everybody up to date.
Yeah.
Like, here's what we know so
I'm like,
far.
oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Have you ever forgotten one? Have you ever oh, right. Yeah. There was that
Forgotten
clone.
like a plot thing?
Or a clone. Like, oh, right. We already we had her.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Totally.
That's
Jennifer.
hilarious. You forgot Jennifer?
Yeah.
Do you know if you're going to are there going to be more before they're?
I don't know.
No, you don't know.
I don't know.
That was really sad when the mother, the actual Lita, when she was.
Yes.
How was that to meet not just Mrs. S's mother, which was a whole thing, but then also this is like the mother of all the clones, right?
Susan Duncan, you mean? Yes. Well, she's an amazing actor, Rosemary Dunsmore.
Yeah.
She's incredible, and we were very lucky to have her on the show. And I mean, that relationship between Rachel and her is so interesting. And, Rachel sort of wants a mother, but at the same time doesn't and can't accept it, and sort of wants to be her peer and at the same time kind of own her. And that doesn't end well for either of them, really.
So, and you got your own after show this time, After the Black, and the Clone Club. And how has that been, like, being, this object of worship from all the fans? I mean, people love the show.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the fans are the reason that people watch the show, and people who write about it. That's the reason we're out there, and that, people force their friends to watch the show. They sit down with them on the couch and won't leave until they've...
I have done that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. But that's the reason, we have a show, and we're very conscious of the fans. We're very, we love them so much, and we love going to Comic-Con and feeling connected to them and getting to, answer these questions, from Twitter and talk to them in person and see the amazing, fan art that comes in. It's just awesome.
Which of the clones is are the favorite? Is it the core group that are the favorite?
Yeah, Cosima's a big one. But the cosplay is mostly there was a lot of Allison's, there were some Sarah as crystals, which was really cool.
Oh, right, because she's
some MKs, right. There's some Cosima's, Helena's,
And you said, we were talking earlier, and you said that you did some improv, or you did some of the clones.
Yeah.
at Comic-Con?
Yeah. So we did.
Did they ask? Did the audience ask you to do Allison?
No, our moderator did. So
Okay.
so he like set us up and made us do little scenelets, which was very fun. Yeah.
So you did it with the rest of the
Yeah.
the rest of the cast?
Yeah, because Christian and Kevin and Jordan were there too.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for the show. And I hope you win an Emmy. I say that every year.
Thanks.
So.
Thank you so much for your support. It's awesome.
No, it's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you for joining us, and come back again for our Emmy chats. Bye.